What's going on, everybody? Jeff Holiday here, and it's been a while since I made a video on my channel. Now, I am currently very hard at work at the next episode of Vaxxed, but I thought I'd kind of catch everybody up on what's been going on. Now, previously, I went to Hollywood, I was on Dr. Phil, I rushed back, and I finished putting together the last of my Jilly Juice video. Since then, it's been my birthday. I turned 36. That took a lot out of me. I had much celebrations, and then I got really sick, really super sick, and it kind of knocked me on my ass. But I am just now getting back into the swing of everything, and I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be working again. So, I wanted to talk today about something kind of off the cuff, not really too terribly planned, but it's something that has been bothering me a lot, and I kind of want to make this video as a placeholder to further explore this as a concept for videos or a topic for conversation. And that is what I see as one of the greatest dangers to Western civilization right now, on top of all the other things that we got going on, like, you know, global warming, impending war, etc., etc. But culturally speaking, I think this is a huge problem that we're not really paying enough attention to, and it's a war for the media. Yeah, I think that there is a war going on for the media, and I can explain how. So recently on Hot Ones, they interviewed Philly D, and Philly D was asked, basically, in a world where you can't really trust any number of news sources, what do you consume for your news? Where do you find your truth? And he had this to say.
Where should people get their news?
Everywhere. If you're not comparing and contrasting, you're getting one source. I think that there are a lot of people trying their best that are maybe working at organizations that don't necessarily care about presenting the full story as much as presenting a narrative. Whether you're looking at mainstream in the sense of Fox News and CNN, all the way to a Breitbart to a Huffington Post.
And I think he's absolutely on point with that. I really honestly do. For those who aren't really familiar with how our news media organizations work, at least especially here in America, for those who aren't aware, here in America, there are very clear political biases for our major news media organizations. Fox News is always going to lean more conservative, more to the right. MSNBC is always going to be more to the left and towards liberalism. In theory, CNN was supposed to be a centrist media organization. It's not. It's really hard to trust CNN a lot of times because they do actually talk some bullshit. I made a video about that not that long ago. Actually, maybe it was that long ago. Wow, maybe I'm getting old. Anyway, the point is, and what Philly's point was, that you kind of have to consume all of these things from all different sides because there is no objective truth in our media reporting. And there never really was, but we at least had an illusion of it. It wasn't so blatantly obvious. It wasn't so thrust in your face like, hey, we are absolutely leaning this direction no matter what in our reporting. And then the other side does the exact same thing, and you have to then decipher between the two. It's exhausting. But you see, now we have this new phenomenon. It's been around for, well, I guess over a year now, but it's fake news. Fake news. Suddenly everything is fake news.
Fake news, fake news.
Fake news.
It's already getting old, but I don't think it's going to stop for a while. The new thing is to, if you don't agree with a news article, you call it fake news. Or you try and show some error in reporting to then discredit everything that that media organization does. That's fake news. Fake news this, fake news that. And who was it who popularized this term?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
Yeah, a politician. That should be a problem. And if it's not a problem, then I don't think you're paying enough attention. And this is really what I need to talk about. This is what's really starting to fucking bug me. The media itself exists as basically a way to inform the public on the things that are of interest to the fucking public. We rely on the media to be that thing which will not let secrets hide in shadows. The media is an excellent tool for holding governments accountable, as well as everything else that it could possibly do for people. But having a free press, having a free, true, open media is absolutely essential. to having freedom of speech and having a free society. I fully believe that. So we want our media to be incorruptible, which is impossible. Of course they're corrupt. It's a thing that exists, so of course it's going to be corrupted, especially if it's something that has any monetary value. Of course it's corruptible by whatever forces have either that money or the influence. That's just kind of how it goes. But at the same time, we try and keep religion out of politics as much as we can, and we do that so that our politics are not going to be influenced. Well, they will, but should not be directly influenced by religion, and also religion not be too directly influenced by government. We maintain those safe distances. Now, before I get to this my main thrust of what I'm trying to talk about here. Recently, there's some stories that came out about a group called Sinclair Broadcasting. They own a ton of affiliate news outlets. They own a lot of shit. They own tons of stuff. It's a huge fucking company. And they've come under fire because they've been sending out these required news stories, and even at times scripts that have to be read verbatim. There's been a lot of investigative journalism into it. Check out this clip, actually, of many news outlets all having to basically read the exact same thing.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
And now that's pretty spooky. It sounds pretty damn spooky. It sounds like We Are the Borg kind of shit, right? But when you look into it and you really analyze it, whether you feel that is a sense of corruption or not, that's on you to make that decision. For me, I'm kind of half and half. I see it as pretty sketchy, but I also see it as I can see why they would want to put across those types of messages, and also if it's their business, technically they can do that. But that's not what I have a big problem with. I do think that there's some fucked up aspects to that. I do. But what I really have a problem with is this. President Donald Trump on April 3rd, 2018 tweeted out, "The fake news networks, those that knowingly have a sick and biased agenda, are worried about the competition and quality of Sinclair Broadcast. The fakers at CNN, NBC, ABC, and CBS have done so much dishonest reporting that they should only be allowed to get awards for fiction." And this is what I have a huge fucking problem with. A huge problem with. Because whereas I think we need to keep religion out of the government, I think we need to keep the government out of media. And we can't silence the speech of politicians on what media outlets they think are trustworthy or not. But it's getting excessive. It's getting really fucking excessive. It's getting to a point where we are having, and I don't think it's a stretch to say this, we are having government entities, powerful government entities, basically telling us which truth we should be listening to, according to them. So far as I can tell, and I haven't seen any evidence for it yet, maybe you have, but it's definitely something that we need to watch out for, especially now, is the potential of using government power. Using the power instilled by the people to then elevate either an organization or a media voice that they believe in, or to suppress and push down one that they think is fake news. I think all of us need to pay attention to this. Even people who like Trump, you know, even if you support Trump, that's still not a good idea. It's still a bad idea, and it's something that I think we're really going to have to pay attention to, because right now this is a scuffle over the soul of media. But if this turns sour, if this turns as bad as it possibly could be, and I'm not a conspiracy-minded guy, but this is enough to make me really wince, it would be really fucking bad, and it would be really hard to keep track of, because the thing that we would require, the thing that we would be counting on to make sure that whatever is happening in the shadows comes to light is the very specific thing that is under threat and being manipulated at the time. So if we rely on media to inform us, Because, and don't get me wrong, there is the new media. You're watching some of the new media now. But I got to tell you, I was in Hollywood last month. New media doesn't have the money that old media does. They don't have the investigative journalists that are out there in the field. They don't have war correspondents, you know. The closest we got is Tim Pool, who's great. Who's a great dude. But yeah, how will we know? Who's going to inform us? Who's going to let us in on how bad it's getting? Who's going to inform the public? So I think that is something that we definitely need to be paying attention to in the future. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. I am back at work at the Vaxxed video. I have an amazing topic for the next Hemlock Moonwolf video, which I will make sure it's coming out this month, and it's going to be a fucking doozy. It'll be a lot of fun. Otherwise, thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for spending some time with me. I hope to do some very basic one-off videos like this every now and then, just to kind of fill out when I have something that I want to talk about, but I don't want to dedicate, you know, 8 hours of editing to make it this super fancy fucking thing. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below. From my family to yours, I hope you have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.